care about Haiti. So we had this concert, and we put a bucket back in the lobby of the University Theater, and the Missouli audience really came forward, and we raised about $1,400 for Dr. Judy. Then on June 21st, we expanded a little bit. Students were all gone by this point, but we held a second fundraiser out at the home of Van and Jean Wolverton out in Alberton. And we had about 50 to 60 people show up for that particular event, and we were able to get funding from a gal in New York City to fly Dr. Judy to Montana. So he was here, and we presented him with about a total of $10,000 to help him with his hospital. In addition to the money, I put together a building team, Dennis Lippert, who is an architect, and Mike Greathouse, who is a builder contractor, and a fellow named Mark Blotkamp, who designed his clinic. And we had lots of engagement with their engineers and their architects, so we built it with them rather than, or gave them the idea at least to build it this particular way. And we presented him with those drawings. And here's a picture of that, of the plan, at least the elevations. And he was so elated that we were able to give him, we gave him 2 sets for his hospital. We learned that the buildings made of concrete were not very stable, and those were the ones that pancaked. The gingerbread houses made of wood had significantly less damage and withstood basically the thing. So let's play that little clip there.
In such a poor country, Haiti's buildings were simply not built to withstand a powerful earthquake. NPR's Christopher Joyce talked to Haiti's only earthquake engineer.
When he was studying engineering in Haiti, Pierre Fouché's professors told him that at least one building there would survive an earthquake, the National Palace. The palace now lies in ruins. Fouché is getting his doctorate in earthquake engineering at the University of Buffalo. He says as far as he knows, he's Haiti's only earthquake engineer. Fouché says his family has survived, but he's saddened by the fact that so many who didn't were killed because buildings in Haiti are so poorly constructed.
Several months later, we received this photograph from Patrick and his wife, Lise, who's a nurse. He's standing on the site of this hospital that Montanans helped to build. That was just the sort of several courses there of cement. But it was actually a wood-framed building that we were building, so it ended up, from that point up, being wood. At the fundraiser in Alberton, Patrick said this. He said, "I hold on to these drawings, they're like gold to me." He was so pleased to have these things. And he said one other thing as we drove out to Alberton. He said, "Look at all this wood. If I could have 40 trees, I could build my hospital." So we dropped him off at the airport, and my wife said something to me after we left, pulled out of the airport. She said, "You know, this is just the beginning." And I didn't know what it was the beginning of, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. At the same time as that's going on, in the United States, we're slipping deeper and deeper into economic recession. So that by the time this earthquake took place in Haiti, we were about 9% unemployment. And this map sort of shows you how, from 2007 to 2011, unemployment develops county by county. At the same time that that's occurring, our national, state, and private forests are suffering from what's called the continental pine beetle epidemic. And we've watched the very sad change of colors in our forests in Montana, from green to rust to gray. And let's go on and play that next little clip.
In Montana, mountain pine beetles are responsible for attacking an estimated 4 million acres of forest over the past decade. And new research into the mountain pine beetle epidemic has found the red needles of a beetle-killed tree can ignite up to 3 times faster than the needles of a green, healthy tree. The new information was presented last night in Helena, and firefighters say they are seeing extreme fire behavior in areas hit by the beetle. U.S. Forest Service ecologist Matt Jolly's findings dispel the notion that beetle-killed trees present no greater fire danger than live ones. The researchers also found that moisture in the needles decreases by 50% just 10 days after a beetle attack, and trees in the gray stage, when all the needles have fallen off, pose a severe fire risk. Officials say red dead trees have increased because beetles are running out of food.
A fellow named Josh Logan from the U.S. Forest Service sent me some information just a couple days ago that I thought I'd put into this slideshow. And these figures will show you just how quickly this epidemic has grown over the past several years. And starting in 1999 with approximately 104,000 acres. And you can see year by year how many more acres of trees are now being consumed in Region 1, which is Montana and Idaho. So in 2010, we had 7 million acres of dead trees. And let's show that map next. And you can kind of see where this beetle kill is occurring. A lot down by Helena. And it was actually on a trip, I drove over to Helena one day, and I was just struck by that beautiful forest that we have and how it's changed. Not only that one, but so many others that I just love to drive through, up by Augusta, up going towards Great Falls, wherever we go, over by Butte. And Patrick Judy's words came back to me as I was driving through the forest. If I only had 40 trees, I could build my clinic. And so I said, I don't know if I said it out loud, but it was very loudly in my brain. If we could somehow get to this wood, there's probably enough dead standing timber to rebuild the entire country of Haiti, if we could get to it somehow or another, if the wood's usable. And I found out that it is usable. I talked with Todd Morgan at the university, who's a wood expert, and he said if we cut this stuff within 3 to 4 years of its death, it's usable just like any other wood. It's exactly the same in terms of its composition and its function. If we were to do this, I was thinking, man, if we could get to that wood, how many people would that put back to work? And what would happen to the forests if we were to get to that wood and reforest? I mean, I love Montana. I was born here, and I came back here after being many, many years away because I love the beauty of the state partly. I just love it. Just being up in Flathead yesterday was just amazing. That's why we live here, or at least that's why I live here. So let's go to the next slide, John. So you're probably wondering, how is this all connected to Wood for Haiti? It's a huge idea. It basically says that we can have a simultaneous attack on 3 different huge catastrophes at the same time. One of them is providing homes for the 1.2 million Haitians who are still homeless. The second is to deal with the pine beetle epidemic in a thoughtful way. And the third is to deal with U.S. unemployment. Restoring the forest and stimulating the U.S. economy are 2 sides of this equilateral triangle. The third side is the Haitian side. And for me, the most important is the relief that we might be able to provide to Haitians. And so why should anyone care about Haiti? Well, you can't see the rest of the island, but Haiti, for those who aren't familiar with it, shares an island with the Dominican Republic on the island of Hispaniola. And let's go to the next slide. And you might know, you can see, I won't go through all of this, but we'll put this up on the website, so if you want to see the figures here, but you can see from 1957 the political turmoil and chaos and the hundreds, thousands of people that were killed by brutal dictators in that country, leaving the country in chaos and its people in misery and poverty. Let's go to the next slide. 80% of the people in Haiti live on $2 a day. $2 a day, that's below the poverty line. 54% lived in abject poverty. That's $1 per day. 50% of the Haitian children are malnourished. The life expectancy is 49. 50% of the children never go to school, and even if they did, 25% of the teachers have never been to high school. So it's a dismal situation, and it appears hopeless. I've had people tell me that the conversation behind closed doors in Washington, D.C. and at the UN is we're not going to give any money to Haiti. They view it as an economic sieve. Pour money into it, and it just disappears through the corruption. But it was all of this poverty, that this earthquake shook to the ground on January 12, 2010. And the world had essentially given up on Haiti. Ironically, this natural disaster brought Haiti back onto the headlines. But you know, the attention span is not that long. About a month in and it disappeared. And we haven't seen Haiti on the news for a while, right? But it was on the front page of every paper for quite a while. And $10 billion was pledged from 60 countries to the World Bank, and they started an organization called the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission, of which former President Clinton is the co-chair, along with Bellarive, who at that time was the prime minister. Their job was to organize the reconstruction of Haiti and to distribute that money. Well, you probably read that not much of it's been distributed. When Clinton was questioned about this, he says, we can't give it out yet because there's no plan. And we think we have a plan, and at least a good start for one. But out of this crushing blow to Haiti arose, out of that dust, a new spirit of trying to do something about themselves. And the people began to take charge of their country to some degree, the best they could. Presidential elections were held, and they elected a new president. Michel Martelly is how they pronounce it. I don't know how good he'll be because he's actually a singer. And you know, I'm a musician, so I know how organized we are. But hopefully he has the spirit of the people, and they really, really like him, and hopefully things will happen. The country is flooded with NGOs, non-governmental organizations, but they're seen by the Haitians as dysfunctional. Nobody's connected. There's no way to coordinate things. They're doing things to the Haitian people rather than with them. And they're not consulting with them about what their traditions are, etc. So groups come in and they build things that are not going to be usable for the Haitian people, and they take pictures of the disaster and go back home. And it's very frustrating for the Haitians. So when Wood for Haiti started to sort of evolve, wanted to do things right, we needed to find a group of people that were committed to lifting Haiti off its knees, something large enough in scope and size that could at least perhaps address the housing issue in Haiti, which is big enough. 180,000 homes are needed there. Something that doesn't give them money. That's one of the problems, because the money disappears. But what if we gave them wood? And what if we trained them to build properly earthquake, hurricane-resistant homes out of wood from here or from someplace? And so how do you get started on something like that? So I had a good idea, but who do I talk to start creating the momentum? So I decided to go down to Butte. They had this economic summit in September, and I wanted to meet the Haitian ambassador, Raymond Joseph, I think he pronounced it, but he didn't show up. He canceled that day. So then what was I supposed to do? So I pounded on some desks and said, who can I talk to? And I sat down with a girl named Chelsea Thomas, who was Baucus's legislative assistant in charge of international something or other. And she listened to what I had to say. I didn't have anything written. It was just an idea. She said, could you send me something? I said, sure. Next day I got back to campus and sent something way too long, 9 pages, not bulleted, just wrote it out. And she called me about a month later and said, we like your idea. Can we have a conference call? So we had a conference call, and there were 6 people on that end of the phone, and they were peppering me with questions, some of which I didn't know the answer to. But they sort of vetting it. Is this something that could work? And they were more excited than I was about the prospect of taking a found resource, and rather than letting it rot in the woods, could we do something for these unfortunate